Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make what I call a bubble bucket. Some people call it deep water culture, hydroponics. But either way, it's really simple and easy. So here we go. Okay, so here are the parts I used to make this. A 1-inch diameter PVC pipe, an old plastic hanger, a chunk of foam. You can get that from some packing materials. I use that pink foam you get at Home Depot. A 3D printed bulkhead, which I'll put a link for that below. A couple of garden hose washers. A 3D printed net pot, also I'll put a link for that. Some soaker hose. Some sort of weight, a steel bolt or some nuts would work. A couple of zip ties and some drip line fittings. And also a cat litter bucket. Okay, in this part I'm going to put together the net pot that I 3D printed earlier. I'm going to apply some cyanoacrylate around the edge of the larger part. Then I will flip it upside down and align it to the bottom. Once I have it the way I like it, then I will spray it with some activator and we should be good to go. Now moving on to the diffuser. I like to use this soaker hose. It's really economical. You're talking about 50 feet for less than $10 versus a, Airstone, which if you want a good one, $10 just for one. With this, I can make a whole bunch of these and use it also for other things as well. And then I just use the standard 1/4-inch drip line fittings. You're going to need T's, elbows, and then also you need to weight it down. I use just a stainless steel bolt I happen to have. I think it's a 1/4 inch, and then a couple of zip ties. And that's pretty much all there is to this, and it works really well. It makes a lot of bubbles, and it really does aerate the water. Using a 2.5-inch hole saw, I will center it in the top of the bucket lid and make a hole. Now I switch over to a 1-inch hole saw bit and make a hole right in the top corner of the lid. This will serve as a filling point and also will be our level gauge. You might find that you'll get better results if you actually tighten the chuck on your drill. Now I'm going to put in a 1/4-inch hole, and this goes in the opposite corner of the lid, and this is where the airline hose will go. And finally, the last hole. On this one I used a 1/2-inch spade bit, and this hole is going to allow me to install the 3D printed bulkhead that I made so that I can drain this if I ever need to. Here I'm assembling the bulkhead that I made earlier, and I'm placing a garden hose washer on the bolt, and this is going to give me a seal when I place it through the hole on the inside of the bucket. On the outside part of the bulkhead, there are 2 bolts and 2 washers. One bolt is used to tighten down the bulkhead and hold it in place, and the other bolt is actually your plug, and when removed, that is how you drain your reservoir. Now I will run the air line through the 1/4-inch hole that I drilled earlier and bring it under and through and then attach it to the diffuser. Once I'm done with that, I'm ready to drop in the net pot. When cutting your PVC down to size, you want to make sure that the bottom is at an angle so that it doesn't get blocked and prevent you from filling your reservoir later on. To install the PVC, all I do is drop it down into the hole that I drilled earlier. The leveling gauge is actually just an old hanger with some pink foam attached to the end of it. I cut that to be about 1.5 inches longer than the PVC. What I'm doing here is marking the empty position of the gauge. Next, what I do is I take a 1-gallon water jug and I fill it up. Then I pour it into the cat litter container and mark on the gauge the level. And then I fill 1 more water gallon up and I pour it in, and then I mark that point as well on the gauge. And this gives me a good idea of how much water is in my reservoir at all times. When finished, this is what it looks like, and as you can see, the diffuser does a really good job of making bubbles to aerate your plant roots. Hopefully this tutorial will give you an idea of how to make your own bubble bucket, and as always, I just wanted to say thank you for watching my videos.